Alright, so in the description of this video, I'm actually going to link a video to how VORs work. And Pile Insight draws it out and explains it a lot better than I do. So watch the video. But to summarize, VOR is a VHF, okay, very high frequency omnidirectional range. How it works, there's two frequencies. We have a variable and we have a reference signal. Essentially, the reference signal is one per radial. The variable signal sweeps around. When both ping together, you're on the radial. When they don't ping together, you're on one side of the radial or you're on the other side of the radial. But watch the video. It'll make more sense when you see that video. Anyways, the whole point of having a VOR is that you have radials, right? So if I draw a circle here and call that the VOR, so to enlarge that, insert, cool. And so the center of this is going to be our VOR. There we go. And then there's going to be, it's like a bike wheel, right? It's like hub and spoke. There's going to be lines that travel out of it. In the center. So like that. And that. Right? So I'm just going to draw one radial right there. So in terms of VORs, we always read from the VOR. So standing from the center, looking away, we call that from, right? Going from and away, the VOR. All radials are read from. So we call this radial the 360 from. We call this radial 090 from. Let's say this was a 30-degree angle here, 030 from. So this is important to know because you also have a to side. There we go. So we have this 360 from, and everything on this side is the from side. But we can also say 360 to. That's this blue line here. This is the 360 to. Inversely, this is the 180 from. This is the 180 to. It doesn't matter which direction you are traveling. Like you can travel northbound, southbound, eastbound, westbound, whatever. This is always a 360 from 180 to. Looking at these radials, this is always 090 from 270 to, regardless of the direction you're flying. So there's always a from side and a to side. So with VORs, we have errors. The errors can be summarized into an acronym C-A-R-R-L. The first one is cone of confusion. So with the VOR, it's a hub and spoke, so we have 360 little sticks branching out from the center. The closer you get to the center or over top of the VOR, the closer you are to all the other sticks. So right when you fly over, you're receiving every single one of those. Your VOR receiver will get pretty confused. So we call that cone of confusion. The further away you get from it, the further away the radials get from each other, the more accurate your radial will be. A is called angle of ambiguity. Cool. So what this means, let's refer back to the 360 from. And let me get a little airplane in here. I'll call this arrow an airplane. That's the direction we're flying. So that's our airplane. So we can be flying anywhere, doesn't matter. This will always be a 360 from. And we set the 360 from inside our receiver, inside our aircraft, which is cool. But it switches from side to to side on the radials of 270 and 090, which means the angle of ambiguity for the 360 and the 180 radial is exactly right there, 270, 090, because right there you're either from, you're either to, but right here, who knows? Receiver doesn't know, so the flag goes away. Next one is RPM. You can also call this roughness, or actually / roughness. So if you go to the AIM 113, it says roughness. It depends on the plane you're flying. Some planes run at certain RPMs that interfere with the receiver. In that case, just change the RPM slightly and the VOR should be a lot smoother. And then the other R is reverse sensing. There we go. So, in terms of practically using the VOR, always set the course you're flying. So, right here, 360 from, 360 to, right? I know I'm on the 180 from, but I don't want to be setting that because it'll be reverse sensing. I want to set the 360 from, or to, and then it'll still be 360 when I pass over to center. So to reverse sense here, instead of setting 180 on the course, I'll set 360 on the course. So just set the course you're flying. So this, I should set the course of 180. Line of sight. So VORs can't see through mountains. If you have something blocking the signal, can't see through it, that's line of sight. Let's see. On top of VOR, we also have things called MON, Minimum Operational Network. This is a backup system of VORs and ILSs that are placed every 100 miles at least in the United States in case of a major GPS outage. Turns out it's actually pretty easy to jam GPS, so good thing we have this. All right, in terms of using the VOR, under IFR we must check the VOR every 30 days. The pilot can do that. All the checks can be simplified into an acronym: BAD, badge. So B, bench test, error, way, dual. Oh my gosh. There we go. VOT, airborne, and ground. All right, so bench tests performed by maintenance, only by maintenance. We wouldn't see that, so not our cup of tea. Airway. What you do here, let's pull this up actually. There we go. Let's go to Sky Vector. Let's go to this. So you're gonna pick an airway with a visible point underneath it. So good choice here. We have Victor 105. Let me enlarge the screen actually. And a good point underneath it is Auction Airport. That is very easily visible underneath this airway. What you're gonna do is you're gonna fly over this airport and you're gonna pair it to this radial of Phoenix VOR 163. You're gonna be plus or minus 6 of that radial. That's an airway check. Don't get confused with an airborne check. Airway. Dual check. Dual check is when you have more than one VOR receiver. You're comparing them with each other. the VOR receivers should not be outside of 4 degrees of each other. So plus or minus 4 of each other. This means that if one is indicating 360 from, the other one, the maximum it can go is either 004 from or 356 from. And the way I remember the tolerances, everything's plus minus 4 minus these two. The A's are plus minus 6. 6, and then plus or minus, there we go, dang it. There we go. There we go. Everything else is 4. All right, VOT, VOR test facility. You'll find this in chart supplements. Go to the back of chart supplements. This is not a VOR. It's a specific station on A airport. You can do this anywhere on the airport. Tune into the frequency. It should only show one radial. It says 360 from or 1802. Again, same radial, right? 360 degrees around that airport. You don't have to go anywhere special, just as long as you receive it. Airport, also in the chart supplements. Same place where you see VOT test. It'll tell you where to fly, what radial should be off of VOR, plus minus 6. Ground checkpoint, also in the chart supplements, back of it, plus minus 4. It will tell you where to taxi, and the symbol for the ground check once you taxi over a designated point will look like this. Let's see, shape. So it's a circle on the ground, it's a dark circle. Like that. We'll cover that. It's usually a dark color like that. And then there's an arrow. Oops. Bring this one to the front. There we go. And then usually this is some color like red or something. And it's like that. You park your plane with the arrow. So if it's facing like this, you face your plane this way. This is your nose. Let's see, anything else? And how to read a VOR. That'll be another video.